Okay. Good morning. Today we're talking about what makes a complete sentence. So a complete sentence, also known as an independent clause, must have a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. Okay. What that means is that in this sentence, for example, botany, subject, okay, sometimes called a noun, is, which is the verb, the study of plants. Okay, that is the complete thought, which makes this a sentence. Okay, so identifying subjects and verbs. Over the next few slides, we're going to have some examples that we're going to work through together. So, built in the 1950s for stray dogs, these buildings offered food and shelter for lost or abandoned animals. Okay, built in the 1950s for stray dogs. If that was the sentence, it would be dependent, no, because it has no verb or it's not a complete thought. These buildings offered food and shelter for lost or abandoned animals. This is independent because it can stand on its own because buildings subject offered is a verb. Okay, so identify the subjects and verbs like last few times, ACT practice built in. I'm going to give you a few seconds to figure out an answer. Built in the 1950s for stray dogs, these buildings offered food and shelter for lost or abandoned animals. About 30 seconds to figure out an answer. Okay, the answer is B because this is an introductory phrase. So it can't stand on its own. So it needs that comma to be a complete thought. Okay, so which is correct? In the greenhouse, the tomatoes grew in many varieties and colors. If you said B, you're correct because this does not make sense in the greenhouse. Okay, we don't know like what's going on in the greenhouse. So I think this will be easier than you think. So it grows. It grows in. Answer is B. Okay, we may not know what it is, but we know it grows in something. Okay, today the tomato being grown in the greenhouse around the world, or today the tomato is grown in greenhouses around the world. Okay, the answer is B because of is grown. Okay, being does not make sense because that's more of a multiple thing. Is the singular version. Okay, tomatoes are brightly colored and full of flavor. Or because tomatoes are colorful and full of flavor. Okay, the answer is A. We do not start sentences with because. Okay, and that's really the reason why. So, when tomatoes were first brought to Europe, comma, many people thought they were poisonous, or when tomatoes were first brought to Europe. Okay, answer is A because B is not a complete thought. Okay, when tomatoes were first brought to Europe, you're probably thinking, okay, what about it? Okay, that's kind of the gist of this. And I hope this helped you all some.